am destroys foes.
The Speed Force wasn't just broken, it was shattered. Barry Allen vanished for 48 hours and returned with blood on his suit. He said he was saving time, but Wakanda called it an attack. Their Vibranium vault was breached by someone moving faster than light. T'Challa gave a warning. No one violates Wakanda and walks away. But Flash didn't walk. He ran straight into war. Now Superman stands with Flash, and the Avengers stand with Wakanda. Two worlds. One misunderstanding, and zero time to stop it. The Speed Force wasn't just broken, it was shattered. When Barry Allen disappeared from the timeline for 48 hours, the world barely noticed. But when he returned, his suit torn, eyes wild, and coated in energy, everything changed. He said he was trying to save time, but Wakanda called it an attack. At precisely 3:17 a.m., a Vibranium vault, hidden beneath Mt. Bashenga, was breached. No alarms, no explosions, just one frame on a surveillance reel, a red streak phasing through walls faster than any system could track. Wakandan tech doesn't lie. King T'Challa assembled a council before sunrise. His message was simple: no one violates Wakanda and walks away. At first, the Justice League tried to calm the storm. Wonder Woman offered mediation. Aquaman stayed silent. But Superman stood by Flash. He believed Barry. He always had. But belief doesn't erase evidence. And in Wakanda, honor demands retribution. Shuri confirmed the energy signature. Speed Force, unquestionably. T'Challa gave the League 24 hours to hand Barry over. They refused. What began as a diplomatic meeting turned into a standoff. What was supposed to be words became weapons. The Avengers arrived the next day. Captain America, calm, collected, holding the line. Iron Man, armed, calculating, already scanning Superman's vitals. They didn't come for negotiation. They came to make sure the League didn't escalate. But they were already too late. Barry was gone again. He had run. He wasn't hiding. He was hunting. He needed to prove his innocence. So he went back to the vault. What he found there changed everything. There were two Speed Force signatures. One was his, the other corrupted, inverted, a twisted reflection, reverse flash. He had broken into the vault using Barry's frequency. He had triggered this war on purpose. Barry returned to warn everyone, but no one would listen. Because while he was away, Superman had broken Flash out of a Wakandan containment chamber. The act wasn't subtle. Walls were melted, guards injured. Superman said no one died. But the wound to Wakanda's pride was fatal. That same night, Wakanda declared defensive war measures. The Avengers backed them. The Justice League fortified. Earth was split down the middle, not by borders, but by belief. Some saw Flash as a threat. Others saw him as a scapegoat. And in the chaos, one man thrived, Reverse Flash. He whispered lies in both ears. To Tony, he claimed Superman was planning a world dictatorship. To Bruce, he hinted that Wakanda had built a Speed Force weapon of its own. Both seeds took root. Meanwhile, Barry felt himself unraveling. The Speed Force inside him wasn't healing. It was evolving, mutating. Every time he ran, the world slowed too much. Colors bled into each other. Sound became unbearable. He was breaking the world just by existing in it. He needed help. And there was only one place that could stabilize the Speed Force, at least temporarily: Wakanda. But how do you ask help from the very people who believe you stole from them? You don't. You sneak in. That's what Barry did. He raced across the border, disabling drones, cloaking himself from satellites, phasing through sonic barriers. And that's when Shuri caught him. Not with weapons, not with force, with reason. She knew this wasn't Barry. She'd been studying the data. The phase variance was too irregular. The frequency off by microseconds. She had her suspicions, and now she had confirmation. But before she could tell the others, the battle began. Iron Man struck first, a full repulsor blast into Superman's back. Superman didn't flinch. He turned, eyes red, and then he flew, straight into Iron Man. The clash shattered windows for miles. Thor brought the lightning. Wonder Woman deflected it. Hulk leapt into battle. Green Lantern met him mid-air. War had begun. Wakandan forces engaged the League's perimeter. Vibranium shields met Amazonian steel. Blood was drawn. Not fatal, not yet, but close. Amid the chaos, Barry stood frozen. He could stop this. He could run into the fight, end it all before it truly began. But if he used the Speed Force now, he might tear the Earth apart. So he ran the other way, not to escape, to find Reverse Flash. He knew where he'd be, where he always returned to taunt Barry. The Museum of Time in the remains of Central City. Inside, Reverse Flash waited. "You finally figured it out," he said, smiling. Barry didn't answer. He charged. What followed was not a fight. It was a storm. Two speedsters, locked in a spiral of punches, kicks, phase tricks, and time splits. They raced through seconds, hours, alternate futures, and past regrets. And, in the end, Barry won, but at a cost. To trap Reverse Flash, he had to absorb his energy signature. All of it. The corrupted Speed Force entered Barry like venom. He screamed. Time screamed with him. Mountains shifted. Rivers flowed backward. Satellites fell from orbit. And in Wakanda, the battle halted. Everyone felt it. Something fundamental had snapped. Then silence. Barry emerged, glowing, barely alive, but holding the truth. He returned to Wakanda, kneeling, offering Reverse Flash's mask and the data Shuri needed to prove it all. T'Challa stepped forward, looked into Barry's eyes, and offered his hand. The war ended that day, but not the tension, because what Flash broke was bigger than the vault. He broke the illusion that heroes always know what's right, that power can always be trusted, that the Speed Force was a gift. It wasn't. It was a curse. And it had only just begun. Screen fades to black. A red streak zips past. Title appears. The Flash broke the Speed Force and triggered a war with Wakanda. New episodes every Friday. Subscribe for more epic crossovers. The war did not end in Wakanda. It merely paused. What Barry Allen brought back that day, the mask, the data, the truth, was enough to stop the fighting, but not enough to erase the damage. Cities repaired faster than trust ever could. The Avengers returned to their compound wary. The Justice League retreated to the Watchtower divided. Wakanda sealed its borders tighter than before. And Barry was no longer the same. The Speed Force inside him was unstable, not exploding, not fading, changing. Every step he took left echoes, not after images, but memories, faces he didn't recognize, futures that hadn't happened, voices whispering outcomes before choices were made. He stopped running, not because he wanted to, because every time he did, something else broke. Superman noticed first. Barry began finishing sentences he hadn't heard, dodging attacks before they were launched, looking at people like he already knew how they would die. Bruce Banner confirmed it later, reluctantly. The Speed Force had absorbed Reverse Flash's corruption, but instead of rejecting it, Barry's body adapted. He wasn't just connected to time anymore. He was entangled with probability. That made him dangerous. Tony Stark said it out loud when no one else would. He's a walking paradox bomb. The word spread faster than any rumor Barry could outrun. Wakanda reopened negotiations, but this time the tone was colder. Shuri requested scans, tests, containment contingencies. T'Challa did not accuse, but he did not reassure either. Barry volunteered for all of it. He needed answers as badly as they did. That was when the visions started getting worse. Not flashes of possible futures, certainties. In one, Wakanda burned under alien fire. In another, Superman lay broken beneath Vibranium chains. In the worst one, Barry stood alone on a dead Earth, holding nothing but ash and a cracked mask. Each vision shared one detail. It always began with him running again. So when the Speed Force surged without his consent, dragging him forward in time, Barry panicked. He didn't choose the destination. It chose him. 3 days into the future, the Avengers compound was in ruins, not destroyed by war, by something precise, surgical. Captain America's shield lay split in half. Thor's hammer was embedded in the ground, cracked. Iron Man's armor empty. And hovering above it all, a Wakandan construct. Not Shuri's design. Older. Forbidden. A time anchor. Barry collapsed to his knees. Wakanda hadn't just studied the Speed Force. They had learned how to pin it down. When Barry snapped back to the present, he didn't go to Superman. He went straight to Wakanda. This time, he didn't sneak. He walked. The Dora Milaje surrounded him instantly. He didn't resist, didn't phase, didn't run. He let them escort him to the Golden City like a prisoner. T'Challa listened in silence as Barry spoke. About the future, about the time anchor, about the Avengers' fall. Shuri denied it at first. The design was theoretical, locked away, never tested. Barry described it perfectly anyway. Every flaw, every safeguard, every failure point. Shuri went pale. "You've seen it," she said quietly. "Yes," Barry answered. "And if we don't stop it, I cause it." That was the truth no one wanted. Wakanda had built the anchor as a defense, not against Flash, but against time itself, against gods, against invasions that couldn't be fought with armies. But anchoring time meant resisting the Speed Force, and the Speed Force always pushes back. T'Challa made the hardest choice of his reign. He authorized the anchor's activation early, not to trap Barry, to protect the world from him. Superman arrived too late. He felt it before he saw it, a pressure in the air, like reality holding its breath. Barry was standing at the center of a Wakandan platform, energy chains phasing in and out of existence around him. He wasn't screaming. He was apologizing. Superman moved forward. Dora Milaje raised their spears. T'Challa held up a hand. "This is not punishment," he said. "This is prevention." Barry looked at Superman, smiled sadly. "In the future," Barry said, "you break this. And when you do, everything burns." The anchor activated. Time froze. Not stopped, fixed. Barry could feel every second press against him like gravity. The Speed Force screamed inside his veins, unable to flow, unable to escape. And then something answered back. Not Reverse Flash. Something older. Something that existed before names. A presence that lived in broken timelines and fed on forced order. It noticed Wakanda. It noticed the anchor. And it smiled. Across the universe, sensors spiked. Magic faltered. Speedsters everywhere collapsed. Even Thor staggered as the storm clouds went silent. Dr. Strange looked into the time stone and saw nothing. No futures. No possibilities. Only a wall. And on the other side of that wall, something knocking. Barry felt it first. Not pain. Purpose. The Speed Force was no longer just energy. It was a boundary, and Wakanda had cracked it. The anchor shattered. Not outward. Inward. Barry vanished in a flash of white. When he returned, the sky over Wakanda was wrong. The stars didn't match. Gravity twisted. Sound lagged behind movement. And standing behind Barry was something wearing his face. Not Reverse Flash. Not Zoom. Something new. Something born from broken time. Barry turned slowly. "I told you," he whispered, terrified. "This is how it starts." And above them, alarm screamed as reality itself began to fracture. Barry didn't know where he had been. He only knew one thing. It wasn't a place. It was a moment. A fracture. A void between ticking seconds where time held its breath. And in that stillness, something ancient opened its eyes. And now it had followed him back. It looked like him, moved like him. But it wasn't him. Its body shimmered with torn timelines. Its eyes pulsed with red lightning laced with shadow. Every step it took left scars on the ground, burns shaped like broken clock hands. It didn't speak. It resonated. Barry staggered away. "Your Speed Force." The creature tilted its head. Its voice wasn't sound, it was vibration, like words spoken through tectonic plates. "I am what's left when speed is caged." I am what wakes when time is shackled. The Wakandan warriors raised their weapons. The creature didn't flinch. Superman stood beside Barry now, fists clenched, eyes glowing. Is this from your vision? Barry shook his head, trembling. No, this is worse. I never saw this far. Then the creature moved. Not fast. Instant. 3 Dora Milaje vanished, gone before they could scream. Only dust where they had stood. It wasn't just speed. It was erasure. It wasn't traveling through space. It was overriding reality. Chalice shouted for evacuation. Vibranium shields activated across the city, forming glowing hex patterns across the skyline. But the creature walked through them like light through glass. Shuri screamed something about temporal harmonics, but no one heard her over the chaos. Then Barry ran, not to fight, to draw it away. The creature followed, smiling with a face that wasn't his. And the sky split. Barry ran across oceans, over continents, through deserts, dragging the creature with him, until he reached the Justice League watchtower orbiting Earth. But the moment he entered, time cracked. The watchtower began to glitch. Martian Manhunter dropped to one knee, clutching his head. It doesn't belong here, he gasped. Its presence rewrites continuity. Wonder Woman tried to lasso it. The rope unraveled before touching it, de-aged into twine, then into vines, then vanished. The creature pointed at Barry. Time stopped. Everyone froze. Even Superman. Only Barry moved. Barely. You brought me into stillness, the thing said. You chained velocity. You broke the only rule. Motion must move. Barry's eyes bled lightning. You are a paradox. I'm a consequence. And then it struck. Barry caught the hit, but only barely. His bones screamed. Blood sprayed in slow motion. The fight wasn't fair. It wasn't even real. Barry was fighting his own shadow, multiplied by every wrong step he had ever taken. He screamed and raced back toward Earth. But the creature didn't chase this time. It turned and ran backward, and time unraveled behind it. Countries vanished. Languages reversed. People turned to children, then infants, then nothing. Every second the creature moved, history collapsed. Heroes began vanishing from memory. The Avengers reconvened in desperation. Wakanda joined forces with Atlantis. Lanterns lit up the skies. Even Doctor Strange tore through dimensions to help. But the moment he tried to trap the creature in a loop, the loop broke. And Strange aged 100 years in seconds. No one could stop it, until Bruce made a choice. He had studied the Speed Force longer than anyone outside the League. Built failsafes, time anchors, quantum traps. But now he opened a vault no one knew existed. Inside was a black box. Stark tech mixed with LexCorp algorithms. Kryptonian circuitry meshed with Martian bioweaves. A last resort, the Flashpoint engine, originally designed to undo one mistake in time. Now it would be used to erase a creature born from all of them. Barry begged him not to activate it. It'll collapse the Speed Force, Barry said. It'll end everything. Me, the League, the multiverse might reset. Bruce looked at him. This isn't about what we want anymore. It's about what we caused. Barry stepped back. There has to be another way. There isn't, Bruce whispered. You're the last constant. You're the beacon. If we don't anchor the Speed Force back into you, it'll find another host, another path. And maybe it already had, because the creature suddenly stopped. It turned toward Gotham and smiled. Barry's heart dropped. No, not there. But it was too late. The creature phased directly into Wayne Manor. Not for Bruce, for Damian. Barry ran. So did Superman. But the creature was already there, hovering over the young Robin, who stood sword drawn, confused but unafraid. Barry tackled the creature just as it reached for the boy. They tumbled through walls, through memories, through time itself. They landed in the Batcave in a timeline that never happened. Thomas Wayne stood in the shadows, older, bloodied, eyes weary. I warned you, he said to Barry. I know, Barry said. And then the creature reached into him. Not physically. It pulled on his regrets, pulled on the choice to save his mother, the choice to change everything. It showed Barry every version of himself that had broken time. And then it asked, "Which one are you?" Barry finally understood. This wasn't just a monster. It was all his mistakes wearing a mask. And it could only exist because he kept running from them. So he stopped. Barry Allen stopped running, and the world shook. The creature screamed, not in anger, but in confusion. Time surged backward, then forward. And for a single perfect moment, everything held still. Barry reached out. "I'm done running from you," he said. "If I'm the anchor, then I'll be the lock too." And with that, he opened himself fully to the speed force. The real one, the pure current. It flooded through him, cleansing the corruption. The creature howled as it was ripped apart, unmade by the very force it had perverted. And then it was gone. Barry collapsed. The skies cleared. Time resumed. But something had changed. Something fundamental. Barry could no longer feel the speed force. And somewhere deep in space, a second flashpoint engine powered on. Someone else had seen it happen, and they wanted the same power. The world had stopped moving, not literally, but symbolically. For the first time in years, Barry Allen wasn't the fastest man alive. He wasn't anything. He sat in the Hall of Justice, surrounded by teammates and silence. No hum of the speed force in his veins. No flickers of time shifts in his peripherals. Just stillness. And he was afraid, not of being powerless, but of what might fill the vacuum. Elsewhere, far from the League and the Avengers, something stirred. The second flashpoint engine activated deep within an off-grid facility, buried beneath the Arctic ice. Its signature was not Kryptonian, not Wakandan, not Atlantean. Something else entirely. Something that felt wrong. Lex Luthor watched the machine hum to life from behind reinforced glass. He wasn't alone. Beside him stood a man cloaked in red and gold. But it wasn't Barry. This one didn't blink, didn't breathe. His eyes were black with static. "Is he stable?" Lex asked. "He's evolving," the man replied. "You removed the leash. The force is bonding." Lex smiled faintly. "Then it's begun." Back at the watchtower, Clark and Diana tried to reason with Barry. "You did everything right," Wonder Woman said. "You saved us." "I broke time first," Barry whispered. Superman stepped forward. "You sacrificed your speed to stop it. That matters." Barry didn't respond. He was staring at the sky, at something only he could feel was missing. The League wasn't the only team on edge. In New York, Tony Stark ran simulations again and again. The flashpoint energy signature wasn't fading, it was duplicating. Echoes of Barry's sacrifice were propagating across the multiverse. "Where there's a void," he muttered, "something always fills it." Strange confirmed the worst. He had seen it through a sliver in the fabric of time. Someone was forging a synthetic speed force. And this time, it wasn't bound to morality, emotion, or regret. It was bound to will. On Earth 9, the multiversal barrier began flickering. Not shattering, not collapsing, flickering, like a screen glitching on the edge of death. And through that flicker stepped a new speedster. He looked like Barry, sounded like Barry, but he was not Barry. He was perfect, too perfect. No sweat, no exhaustion, no hesitation. He called himself Prime Flash. And he didn't run, he glided, like he was surfing on broken seconds. The Justice League felt him arrive before they saw him. Wally West collapsed mid-patrol, clutching his chest. Jessie Quick lost her powers for 5 minutes. Jay Garrick disappeared entirely, his helmet found spinning on the floor of the Speed Lab. Whatever Prime Flash was, he was consuming speed. Barry stood up. The monitors in the Hall of Justice buzzed. Static turned to shape. A message broadcasted not from Earth, but from in between Earths. Prime Flash's face appeared. To the people of every timeline, your chaos ends today. Your futures will be streamlined. Your losses condone. Wonder Woman narrowed her eyes. Is that a threat or a promise? Batman's voice cut through. It's control. Bruce had been studying the echoes. Prime Flash didn't originate from any single Earth. He was an algorithm, assembled from the memories, regrets, and failures of every speedster who had ever tried to fix time. Someone fed the Speed Force a script, Bruce said, and now it's acting it out. Superman clenched his fists. Where is he? Everywhere, Barry replied. And nowhere. He's between ticks of the clock. Then he paused. But I know where we can reach him. They didn't like the answer. The ruins of the original time anchor in Wakanda still pulsed with residual energy. It was unstable, dangerous. It hadn't been rebuilt since the last disaster. Shuri warned them, if you open that gateway again, we can't contain what comes through. Barry looked at his hands. Steady, human. Good, he said. I don't need to contain it. I need to face it. Superman offered to go with him. No, Barry said. If he feeds on speed, I'm the bait. He stepped onto the cracked platform, now ringed with tech from 3 worlds: Wakandan Vibranium, Atlantean crystal nodes, and Stark temporal regulators. Shuri flipped the final switch. Barry disappeared. Inside the realm of fractured time, Barry saw it all. Thousands of versions of himself. Some noble, some twisted, some shattered beyond recognition. And in the center of it all, Prime Flash, standing calmly inside of perfect stillness. No heartbeat, no flicker. You've returned, Prime Flash said. Slower than before. I'm not here to run, Barry said. Prime tilted his head. Then, you're already dead. Barry stepped forward. You think this is fixing time? Eating every alternate version of us until you're the only one left. I know it is. A pulse of energy swept the realm. Whole timelines crumbled. Prime walked toward Barry. You threw your gift away. I optimized it. No emotion, no hesitation, just order. Barry's fists clenched. You erased everyone who ever mattered to me. I preserved their perfect echoes. Flawed fleshed eyes. I am memory without error. Barry shook his head. You're not memory. You're regret with delusions of godhood. And then Barry did something Prime didn't expect. He ran, not away, toward him. The collision wasn't physical. It was conceptual. Barry hit Prime with every reason he ever ran. For Iris, for Wally, for his mother, for every life saved, and even for the lives he failed. He struck with grief, love, guilt, and growth. And for the first time, Prime hesitated. That's when Barry understood. Prime wasn't invincible. He was incomplete, built from stolen pain, but never forged by it. Barry reached inside Prime's chest, not to destroy him, but to share what the Speed Force had taken. Real memories. The ones Prime had never lived. The moment Barry saved a child from a burning bus. The time he lost his father. The first time he saw the stars while running faster than light. Not as power, but as wonder. Prime fell to his knees. Time slowed. And for a breathless second, there were 2 Barrys again. One real, one broken. Barry whispered, you don't need to be perfect to save time. You need to care. And Prime dissolved, his code unspooling into light. Barry stood alone in the realm between seconds. No powers, no echoes, but finally peace. The Speed Force was gone. For the first time in eons, the realm between seconds stood empty. No lightning, no echoes, no timelines struggling to realign. Just one man. Barry Allen stood still, grounded in silence. He wasn't floating. He wasn't vibrating. He was just there. He closed his eyes. For the first time, he wasn't thinking about how fast to run, where to be, or what to fix. He thought about Iris, about his mother, about the life he lived without powers, the life he'd almost forgotten. And then a door opened. Not a literal one, a shimmer, a breach, a ripple of something warm, familiar, and alive. He turned. It wasn't the Speed Force. It was Wally, not the version from before, not the cocky speedster chasing his uncle's legacy. This Wally looked older, wiser. Something had changed. I followed your signal, Wally said. Even without the Force, I could feel it. Barry smiled weakly. Did you bring a way out? Wally nodded. But there's something you should see first. He reached out. Barry took his hand. And in that instant, time bent, gently, not violently, like it was welcoming them back. They returned to Earth. But it wasn't the same, because everything had changed. The multiverse didn't fracture, it healed. Not perfectly, not seamlessly, but with purpose. Wounds stitched together by shared memory. Across dimensions, versions of heroes who had been erased reappeared, scarred but alive. Garrick returned, older than ever, but smiling. Jesse Quick lit up again in a flash of gold and pink. Even Kid Flash from Earth, 16, gone for years, ran through the streets of Keystone City like no time had passed. And at the center of it all stood a monument, a marble statue of Barry Allen, not in costume, in jeans, a t-shirt, and his old lab coat. Just a man. The inscription read, "He didn't save time by outrunning it. He saved us by standing still." Barry stood there for a long while, just looking. Behind him, the world moved forward. In Wakanda, Shuri led the creation of a new Speed Force containment net, not to weaponize it, but to monitor it, learn from it, respect it. In Metropolis, Clark worked with Strange and Stark to close all unauthorized time gates. No more time travel, no more do-overs. In Gotham, Bruce quietly dismantled the Flashpoint engine, one piece at a time. No fanfare, no press, just quiet accountability. And in Central City, a new hero emerged. She was fast, not like Barry, not like Wally, faster. Her name was Inez West, Wally's daughter from a timeline that once got erased in a paradox. Now restored, now real. And she was ready. Barry met her one night under the old clock tower. "You're not scared?" he asked. Inez grinned, terrified. "But I think that's what makes me the right one." Barry laughed. "Good answer." He handed her something. Not a ring, not a suit, a journal. The one he'd written in after every race, every battle, every loss. She took it with reverence. "I'm not going to run like you," she said. "I'm going to run like me." Barry smiled. That's the point. Elsewhere, the world began to adapt. The Avengers officially recognized the Justice League as multiversal allies. Not just colleagues, not just contacts, but equals. In a ceremony that spanned 3 continents, Tony Stark handed Bruce Wayne an encrypted chip labeled Final Contingency. "Delete this." Bruce never opened it. Thor and Diana trained side by side for the first time. T'Challa formed a temporal ethics council, a shared table where Strange, Shuri, Cyborg, and even Lex Luthor debated rules for the future. And Lex, he vanished. Not in disgrace, not in triumph, just gone. Some said he'd uploaded a version of himself into the realm between seconds. Others claimed he had finally found a timeline where he was a hero and stayed there. Barry didn't care. He wasn't watching anymore. He had stepped back, not retired, just rested. He lived with Iris now in a quiet place outside Central City. A garden, a home, no monitors, no emergency alerts. Sometimes he jogged, slowly. He laughed at the slowness, and yet he still felt something beneath his skin. Not power, not lightning, peace. One day while he visited, Inez joined them. They sat on the porch, drinking iced tea, watching the sun dip below the horizon. "I keep thinking," Inez said, "about what Prime Flash said. About perfection. About how he wanted to fix it all." Barry nodded. Perfection's a myth. Motion's not about being flawless. It's about moving forward and making mistakes, Wally added. Then learning from them, Barry finished. Silence. Then a low hum in the air. Not from machines, from time itself. Barry stood up. Feel that. They all did. Not a warning. An invitation. A soft reconnection. The Speed Force wasn't returning. It was being reborn. From them. Not as a gift. Not as punishment. As a relationship. A two-way bond. Powered not by pain, but presence. Wally reached for it. So did Inez. Barry smiled and stepped back. "I've run enough," he said. They didn't argue. They ran. Together. Golden streaks of light trailed across the twilight sky, dancing, lifting, singing through the air like joy given shape. And Barry Allen watched them disappear over the hills. He didn't cry. He didn't grieve. He just breathed. Because this time, the world didn't need saving. It just needed to move on. The end.